My name is Stephanie and I'm a Lenovo Legion ambassador. Hey, with an increased interest in live streaming, content creation, and just building an at-home workspace that reflects both your personal style and is conducive to like a positive state of mind, home office makeovers are a pretty big thing right now. But depending on your space, budget, and what's specifically important to you, the tools and equipment you need can vary. So I thought I'd talk about some of the things that I have done to make this space better suited to what I need, with a focus on functionality without compromising too much on, I guess, my personality when it comes to my aesthetic. So I moved to the beautiful Blue Mountains in New South Wales in 2018. The hope was to offset all the work I do with screens and technology with a bit of nature. Not to mention life up here is way more affordable than it is in the city. So I made this little room my home office where I game, write, edit, stream, and record most of the content that I make for myself, for my partners, and for our video game variety show Back Pocket. It's not the fanciest setup you'll see, but it's mine and I really, really love it. And I think that's kind of the most important thing. So what my partner and I loved about this house when we first saw it was its high ceilings, but that came with a price. It's hard to heat in winter, and here in the Blue Mountains, it regularly gets below zero. And when it comes to sound, I was faced with some pretty frustrating echo. Sound is one of the most important things when it comes to making content at home. But luckily, in most cases, you can get away with soundproofing your space yourself. These foam soundproofing panels I have on the back of my door, I just bought from Amazon and I just stuck them on there with 3M tape. And if you've got carpet already in your home, a few of these foam panels placed on the wall in front of where you'll be speaking is likely going to be enough to absorb any unwanted reverb. For me, with timber floors and these peaked ceilings, the foam panels were not cutting it, and that meant I had to invest significantly more in professional soundproofing. It's pretty brutal cost-wise, but on the plus side, getting a professional to do it meant that they used really high-quality, low-profile materials that are barely visible, so just don't even notice they're there. And the sound quality has improved so much. I mean, it's not a professional recording studio and it's far from perfect, but it's way better than it was before. So there are a couple of different options for you depending on how much you want to spend and what the limitations of your space are. Another thing to keep in mind is that when it comes to furniture, the more stuff you have in the space, the more there will be to soak up sound. So keep that in mind when you're choosing stuff for your room. I love natural wood and I wanted to keep this kind of warm and cozy vibe. So I stuck with dark timber and eclectic decorations that kind of reflect my personality. Viking weapons, a few pieces of art, and collectible video game items that showcase my passions. Some of this stuff is new, but honestly, a lot of it I've been collecting since I was a teenager, so it's all really special to me. I also tried to include a few natural items like plants and minerals so that there's a kind of organic element in there as well. I'm not like woo-woo about crystals, but I do think that when you're looking at leaves or rocks, you just feel calmer. I don't know, maybe it's like a weird primal thing. All right, let's talk lighting. I love candles, but they can be kind of hazardous when you're placing them in boxed shelving, so I have these LED candles for atmosphere. When they're in the background, you can't even tell they're not real wax candles. So much so that I've had people come into stream and be like, I'm worried you're gonna burn your house down. And I'm like, relax, they're plastic. It's okay. I also have these old-fashioned LED lanterns I got from Amazon. They're battery operated, they were cheap, but they look really effective. For color, let's talk RGB. I love RGB on my gaming setup, on my keyboards, my fans, everything. It just makes me happy. But I tried to avoid it initially for my room because I feel like everyone's setups features some sort of RGB. But there is a reason for that, and it's because it looks really good on camera. It's just an undeniably easy way to transform a space. You could have a boring room with nothing in it, and then you just make it purple, and suddenly it looks cool. So I do incorporate quite a few RGB lights. First of all, I have these Nanoleaf wall panels. They're so great because they're easy to assemble in any pattern and they're programmable, so you can kind of make your own fun colors and designs. There are a lot of different companies doing stuff like this now. These are pretty expensive, but they were easy to assemble and they work really well. They're not visible in my on-camera shot, but I like them here because they light the room, but also they cast a light onto my hair and face, which can look nice. Do like a blue, purple, ooh, pink. There's a green there, a little bit of green. Oh no, not the police. you can play around. Then I use these Falcon Eyes F7 RGB light panels. They are small, they can be any color. They have also programmable settings. They're magnetics, you can stick them onto anything. They're honestly so handy whenever I'm doing any kind of shoot, photography, filming, streaming, whatever. I started with one, but now I have three because they're just so useful. So I use a combination of these when I'm streaming to kind of create an interesting lighting backdrop or to light different items in my space. A more recent investment for me is that last year I got a standing desk. I spend so much more time at home now. I realized it would be a worthwhile purchase from a health perspective. I don't play video games standing up. I'm not that virtuous, but I do take a lot of calls and meetings, and I now do all of those on my feet. I got this one from Desky mainly because they do proper timber desktops and I wanted it to match everything else in the room. But there are a bunch of different companies that make them with different styles. You can get a corner desk if you want. You can get single motor, dual motor, all kinds of stuff. Obviously, it's great that it can become a standing desk, but another thing that I didn't consider that's awesome is that it's adjustable lower as well as higher. So for me, I actually have it at a comfortably lower level than most standard desks because I am short. Now I can sit with my feet like comfortably on the ground so they're not like dangling like a child. I'm not going to go into all the specifics of my stream setup just yet because I'm going to save that for a whole other video. But obviously I have a lot of RGB going on here because, as I said, it makes me super happy. But I also wanted to highlight the Legion 7i gaming laptop that I have here on this stand. I often use this as a third screen when I'm streaming, but the versatility of this machine is honestly what makes it probably one of the most valuable additions to my office and my life. First of all, if you wanted to run a dual PC stream setup, you could run a capture card with it and have your desktop PC handle all of the gaming, so that's really handy. But what makes this a lifesaver for me is that I typically travel a lot for work, interstate and overseas in a normal year, but also just from my home office here in the mountains into the city where we have our studio and we film our video game variety show Back Pocket and a bunch of other things for different clients. So that means that sometimes I'll be in the middle of an edit or I'm playing a game that I want to talk about on the show and I have to kind of just pick up and leave in the middle of everything. So I transfer my edit files to the laptop or install the game that I'm playing and I just take it with me. I have edited and gamed on planes, in hotel rooms, on trains. Just this last weekend I was away with my family and I hadn't finished a social edit that was due, so I was just sitting on the couch like keying out a green screen on the laptop, and then I got to finish that job and then I enjoyed the rest of the weekend without this, work thing hanging over me. So that was really nice. So to create a home office or streaming setup that looks cool and feels good to be in, you could spend a lot of money or you could spend not much at all. I think visually just choose things that make you happy. Some of the biggest streamers in the world have really simple, plain visual setups, so it's definitely not essential. Personally, I think it's important to just at least feel good in the space that you're going to spend the most time in. And I think the key to that is just making it a reflection of you. If you want to go full RGB disco on top of that, you can, but you don't have to. So let me know in the comments any cool tips or tricks that you found to throw together a cool home office or stream setup that you enjoy spending time in. I'll chuck a list of all the items I mentioned in the description below, including a link to the Legion range of gaming laptops, including the 11th gen Legion 7i that was featured in this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.